Hey guys, today on People Now.
Are we gonna allow social media to dictate our take on people's characters?
Nick Cannon speaks out to us about the Kevin Hart Oscars controversy.
Meghan Markle surprises a crowd at the British Fashion Awards, and our royals expert explains how the Duchess broke royal protocol.
Why was Leo ordered to give back an Oscar?
The Queen Bohemian Rhapsody craze continues with a new broken world record.
Plus, star from J.Lo's new movie Second Act, Dan Bukatinsky, is here with all we need to know about life on that star-packed set.
It's live today on People Now. Let's go. Hey everybody, I'm Jeremy Parsons.
I'm Andrea Boehlke. Hello.
Hello. We've got lots to get to today. We will begin with this. There's just 75 days to go before the 2019 Oscars. The show's producers, they're kind of back to square one here when it comes to finding a new host, and according to one new report, they might not pick anyone at all. Two insiders speaking on the condition of anonymity tell Variety that the Academy were, quote, blindsided by Kevin Hart's exit. They're freaking out. One option on the table is scrapping an official host and pulling that all together and pulling in a bunch of huge celebs, something SNL style, getting buzzy people to kind of move the show along. That's according to Variety sources. Reps for the Academy and ABC didn't immediately respond to People's request for comment, but Variety reported that the Board of Governors are scheduled to meet Tuesday evening, where they will discuss the matter and it will inevitably come up. They'll hopefully find a resolution. Oscar ratings have been consistently down over the past few years. Last year's ceremony dipped to a record low of 25.6 million, a 19% drop from the previous year. According to Variety, that's part of the reason why the Academy and ABC are worried. Someone too edgy like Hart has allegedly left them, quote, gun shy, but then someone too safe might not draw the viewers that they need. Guys, we're going to have more on this with Nick Cannon a little bit later in the show. He's been very outspoken about Kevin Hart's departure, whether it's good or bad, what he thinks. That's a pretty big move for him and for the Academy. It's all coming up in just a bit. This would be the first Oscar ceremony, by the way, without a host since 1989, if it happened. It only, has happened a handful of times in history.
Well, my question is it that hard to find a host? I feel like a lot of people would clear their schedules to do this. Yesterday we were talking, Ellen and The Rock would be good choices. Busy
Right.
Phillip is volunteering because, she has her show now. So I feel like they could find somebody.
It's not like there aren't people that are willing, but in light of all the things that come into it and all the things that can be dug up and all the different issues that can arise, it's hard to find the right person in that case. I love the Ellen and The Rock suggestion. I think that'd be a good one. It got us thinking, though, would you still watch without a host? It's our question of the day, so go vote in our Twitter poll and tweet us your comments with the hashtag PeopleNow. I'd be interested to also see, if they said they wouldn't say anything political, how many people would or wouldn't watch? You know what I mean? Because that's always a firing point there. Anyway, we'll talk more about that, and we'll check in on those results a little later. For now, though, we move on to this. Speaking of Oscars, it's the case of the departed Oscar actor Leonardo DiCaprio getting to keep his golden statue for his role in The Revenant, but he's turning over another Oscar in his possession to the feds. Leo was actually gifted Marlon Brando's 1954 Oscar for On the Waterfront from Malaysian financier J.Lo, who bought the Oscar for $600,000 at an auction. Now, Lo's currently a fugitive, accused of committing fraud and allegedly using billions of dollars from an investment fund run by the Malaysian government. Well, apparently, the New York Times says he might be hiding out somewhere in China. Now, here's the funny thing about all this. The actor and Lo are connected because Lo financed 2013's The Wolf of Wall Street, which you might remember got Leo an Oscar nom and was about, of all things, financial fraud. Leo is also handing over other items that Lo gifted him, including a Picasso painting. The returned Oscar is now in a federal warehouse in Texas. DiCaprio, he's not the only famous person to receive some lavish gifts from that businessman. The alleged criminal apparently bought a see-through piano for supermodel Miranda Kerr. Must be nice to have friends who gift you these kinds of things.
Yeah.
My friends give me the bar tab, maybe something like that, which is all legal, of course. But anyway, this is seriously something out of a movie in some ways. It's been an ongoing investigation. 2 years ago, Leo was ordered to pay back donations from his charity that were linked to Lo. And this isn't the first time that Leo's been linked to people involved in illegal activities. He was linked to a gambling Ponzi scheme. He was not accused of any wrongdoing, but Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Tobey Maguire also linked to the gambling ring. A lot of times, sometimes, I guess, these big money people have their hands in some nefarious places. At least that's how it seems, allegedly, from time to time.
It's very underground, it seems, too, but now it's coming to light.
Coming to light.
It's very mysterious.
And it's too bad he had to give up the Oscar. That's a nice little thing to put on the coffee table or whatever.
I feel like that should have just stayed in Marlon Brando's family,
Yeah.
right? Why would you want that?
But if it's
some
out
people
there,
would want that, yeah.
I'd want it. All right, here we go. Mike the Situation Sorrentino is enjoying life just a month ahead of entering prison for tax evasion. The Jersey Shore star shared a photo from his honeymoon with his new wife, Lauren, on Monday. He captioned it, "Hello, honeymooners." We also got a chance to catch a glimpse of the wedding ring with the new wife sharing a selfie of herself lounging in a pool at the resort that the couple are staying at. The newlyweds are making the most of documenting the time that they have left together. Last week, they posted a picture of themselves posing in front of a Christmas tree that they just bought. Very sweet, doing the whole family thing. Last month, Mike shared a picture of Thanksgiving festivities with his family and his new wife. The couple looks surprisingly relaxed if you consider the reality star. He's about to go to prison for 8 months. The newlyweds, who were college sweethearts, got engaged earlier this year. They tied the knot on November 1st. The cast of Jersey Shore Family Vacation, including J.Lo, Snooki, Pauly D, they were all in attendance for that. Look, they were all in here not long ago, too. Mike seems to have come to grips with all of it. He's going to do what he has to do and then move on with his life. That was the vibe that he put on.
It seems like they were having a really good time at that pool.
Yeah.
A little goodbye video for him.
All right, here we go. Is this real life? Is this just fantasy? I can't sing it, but there you go. It's real, though. Queen's beloved song, Bohemian Rhapsody, became the most streamed song from the 20th century on Monday. Universal Music Group said in a statement that the single surpassed 1.6 billion streams globally. Wow. The 1975 hit claimed the record in part because of the new film, also titled Bohemian Rhapsody, that stars Rami Malek as Queen frontman Freddie Mercury. Just 5 weeks after the movie's release, it's claimed a global box office of $600 million, becoming the highest-grossing musical biography film ever. Even Oscar nomination rumors swirling about Malek's performance, which was amazing, garnered the actor a Golden Globe nom last week, so things are looking good for him. Unfortunately, Freddie Mercury, of course, doesn't get to see how his song has transcended generations. Freddie died when he was 45 in 1991 due to complications from AIDS. The almost 6-minute hit, Bohemian Rhapsody, also surpassed songs like Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit and Guns N' Roses' Sweet Child of Mine to become the most streamed class rock song of all time. Now, you had real trouble with this.
Well, no, I like that song a lot.
No,
and
it's amazing,
I got to be on the carpet for Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie, and Brian May is the producer on that. And, you know, he said in a statement he's very happy to hear the song still successful. The other songs were confusing that were really high up. Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit. I don't even...
Is this an age disparity thing? I feel like it's a big
that's not
song.
a very popular song.
Well, you also would think like Michael Jackson hits and things like that.
The Beatles. So I'm surprised, but I guess.
But don't forget,
these are real stats.
It's also streaming, and you have to think of the advent of streaming and when that happened generationally, and what songs were hot when that first started.
Obviously, the movie Bohemian Rhapsody helped the song.
Yeah.
So I think that makes sense.
And if you haven't seen it, go see it.
You should.
Check it out. All right, let's move on to this. Watch.
I've been here almost 11 years. Thought I would stay 1 year. Something happened along the way. Fell in love with a beautiful Egyptian goddess. And now, when it's our 11th anniversary, I'm going to be leaving the Today Show.
Well, Kathie Lee Gifford leaving the Today Show after 11 years. The news was announced Tuesday in a memo to staff from NBC News president, while Gifford made the announcement to fans as she opened up the show's third hour with co-host Hoda Kotb. During the bittersweet announcement, the duo emotionally recalled the beginning of their journey together. Kotb saying, quote, "The minute you stepped into my life, everything changed," and Gifford will stay with the show through its next anniversary, April 7th, 2019, actually her anniversary, her 11th anniversary on the show. And I was talking to you a little bit before. One of the times that I was on the show there doing some segment, I had some downtime with Kathie Lee, and we were talking about the show's ratings, which had just been really great. And she just said, like, you know, me and Regis changed morning television, and now we've done it again. And you can tell she's really proud of what she's done there.
This is a kind of sad departure for me. I feel like the show's gonna be so different without her.
Yeah, it is.
And those who seem like best friends, obviously you visited them a bunch.
Yeah, right.
They're so wonderful together, and I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of bummed to see her
The
go.
interesting part about it is you've got these two really big personalities that seem to mesh perfectly together. And obviously Hoda has come up through the ranks, and Kathie Lee had a lot to do with Hoda even being there. And so now as Hoda continues, KathieLee and her have had this really great rapport. So
I
yeah,
love
the show's
Hoda, but I'm gonna miss Kathie Lee for sure.
For sure. All right, you've got more in Star Trek.
I do. We are kicking off Star Trek today with a Duchess gone glam. We love tracking this lady. Work it, Meghan Markle stunned the crowd at the Royal Albert Hall in London when she made a surprise appearance at the British Fashion Awards on Monday night. Now, Meghan walked on stage to roaring applause, of course, from the crowd, and and she looked very chic in a one-shoulder Givenchy black gown. Now, she completed the look with gold accessories, black nail polish, a low bun, and of course, that growing baby bump. Meghan gave a speech saying in part that it was such an honor to celebrate British fashion designers in her, quote, new home of the UK. And she went on to present the British Women's Wear Designer of the Year award to someone she knows very well, the artistic designer, director of Givenchy, and designer of her gorgeous wedding gown, Claire Waite-Keller. Now, Meghan made sure to have some fun as well, channeling her days as a glam Hollywood star with Claire and actress Rosamund Pike for a very candid photo booth boomerang. That's pretty fun. It's also very unheard of for a royal. We'll be talking more about that break from royal protocol and more a little later in the show with our royal correspondent Imogen Lloyd-Webber. All right, stick around for that. Ashton Kutcher is feeling the shame from one of his famous neighbors for carrying his youngest son around. Now, when the actor stopped by to co-host Tuesday's episode of The Ellen Show, Ellen pointed out that when Mila Kunis and Kutcher pass by her house, the 2-year-old is never walking. Now, Ashton is feeling the pressure. Take a look.
I now have a complex about this because I have this like one of those like hiking backpack things that I put him in the hiker to go down the beach so we can actually go down the beach. Otherwise, it's like a whole wrangling session with the kid. And then you came out and you were like, "Oh, does he walk?" And I was like, "Yes, he walks."
Because I had seen it 5 times. I'd never seen him walk.
Okay, so now I take him out of the thing like once we get to like purview of your house, and I'm like, "Go, go." Go. I can't, you got run, little sucker. And I'm like trying to like dish him along so I don't have to hear about it anymore.
Well, he should just walk more often because
This kid's gonna be an Olympian, man. 'Cause I'm gonna be behind him like, it's Ellen's house!
Yeah.
She's watching!
Yeah.
He likes to carry his son. I don't see a problem with that.
No, you end up carrying your kids around, whatever. But I think Ashton Kutcher would be possibly the coolest dad ever.
Oh, for
right?
sure. Yeah, and I mean, Mila Kunis is your mom. Done.
Perfect. Couple goals. Parent goals.
Those are your Star Treks for today.
All right, guys, stay with us. Nick Cannon responds to the backlash after he defended Kevin Hart amid all the Oscars host controversy. Plus, we're live with one of the stars of Second Act, Dan Bukatinsky. Stick around for that. That's a little later in the show.
All right, let's take a look at our question of the day. We've been asking you, will you still tune into the Oscars if the Academy decides to not have a host for the big night?
See what people are saying. Yes, doesn't bother me.
All right.
By far.
Not that far. I mean,
We were talking about this a little before, though. I actually do tune in for the host. Like, I want to know, you know?
oh, I'm sure there's people that were going to tune in for Kevin Hart and now probably aren't going to tune in.
Yeah.
I think they do. Look forward to that.
And so it's kind of like you want to, whoever it is, it needs to be teasy enough to wonder what they're going to do, how they're going to do that opening monologue, how they're going to get creative and do the Ellen selfie or what's going to be the equivalent, right?
We'll see. All right, keep voting in that poll. All right, moving on to this. So Nick Cannon is speaking out. He has a lot to say. To catch you up, we've been talking about this quite a bit, but Kevin Hart was set to host the Oscars. He stepped down after some of his homophobic tweets from 2011 were resurfaced online. Obviously, people very upset. Now, Nick defended Kevin. He unearthed some old homophobic tweets from other comedians, retweeted those specifically targeting Amy Schumer, Sarah Silverman, Chelsea Handler.
Yeah, there's a lot there. A lot of them have responded, and we'll get into some of that. But Nick was actually here at People Now. He further explained his opinion, opened up a bit more. Watch.
Are we gonna allow social media to dictate our take on people's characters in their past? Because I feel like we should have the opportunity to grow. And we all make mistakes. I've made several mistakes. I mean, other comedians, that's what we do. A lot of times, comedians don't know they've crossed the line until they cross the line. You know, a lot of people speak ignorantly, and I find it unfortunate that instead of trying to allow people to grow and communities to come closer together and find understanding, here in our society, we focus more on the punishment. And we're fascinated with punishing people. And
The cancel culture.
Yeah, what he has to pay for what he said, opposed to say, no, let's see if there's growth there. And I know Kevin's character. I know he's a great guy. I know there's no malice. And I was so happy for him when I was like, oh, one of the good guys got an opportunity to take it to the next level. And then hours later, for that opportunity to no longer be there, and I know how much it meant to him, and it's just like, man, I gotta stick up for my best friend, and it wasn't about, pointing fingers on anyone else. I'm just pointing fingers truly at the Academy.
Yeah, so really great to get his perspective. You and McCo interviewing him there. He really opened up. And of course, if you're following along, the Academy asked Kevin Hart to apologize after that backlash. He respectfully declined, stepped down. Then he ended up releasing a statement and apologizing.
Yeah, so we obviously wanted to know, does Nick Cannon agree with Kevin's decision to step down?
Kevin stepped down, right?
Yeah,
so it wasn't
in a
like
very honorable way, too.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, man, I was proud that you got the job, but I was even more proud the way that you handled this entire situation, because what I've done in the past and what I commend him for what he did, he wasn't going to allow some organization to dictate or control how he moved. So it was very fascinating to me that he first chose to step down, then he apologized if he offended anyone. Because he wasn't gonna let somebody say, oh, you can keep this job, or we're gonna hang this job over your head if you do this. You're not gonna tell me what I'm going to do. But if I offended anybody, I truly apologize. But you can keep your job.
Yeah.
And I was like, woo, that's a gangster move.
It's interesting hearing Nick Cannon open up that way. Don't forget, Nick stepped down from hosting America's Got Talent. He had some of the exact same words when he stepped down after some controversy surrounding one of his stand-up acts.
Yeah, now we were all waiting to see if the comedians that he addressed, so Amy Schumer, Chelsea Handler, and Sarah Silverman, would say anything. Right before we interviewed him, Sarah Silverman did address the tweets. She shared this thread. An activist defended why it was okay for those three ladies to say similar things as Kevin, because he said it's because they were allies.
Right.
Of course, we wanted to see if Nick agreed with that argument.
I found that interesting. I mean, because one, I mean, you check my track record. I've definitely been an advocate, an ally, and a friend to the LGBTQ community. From a lot of the philanthropic work I've done with the Halo Awards and things I've done with the youth. Just in that space, but then even, you know, you watch Wild 'N Out, you know, I mean, I always say Wild 'N Out is the most progressive show on television.
Very
because
diverse.
we have all types, everything you could think of, every culture, every gender, and we make fun of everyone, you know what I mean? We're equal opportunists when it comes to offending people on Wild 'N Out. But it's just say, because I'm truly a person in the spirit that I believe I don't have the power of judgment. And in my art and everything that I put forth. So in the same way that the people that I did retweet are allies, I can say that not only myself, but even Kevin as well. Now, there may be things that have said in the same way that they've said things, and even in my own stand-up routines, all of our stand-up routines, we've probably said things that wouldn't seem to be so progressive, and that's sometimes what the purpose of a comedian is to hold up the mirror to society and say, look, let's these are some honest truths. And one thing that I do on Wild 'N Out, and one thing that I do in my own act, and I see a lot of people do, there's nothing wrong with highlighting differences, making fun of differences, as long as there's no hate involved.
Well, he's got such great perspective on all this, and the Academy hasn't announced a replacement as host. Like we said, we'll see if they ditch it all together. We'll find out what happens.
All right, you guys, take a look at this. So Jason Momoa shared this picture on his Instagram. I really like this picture. He's posting with Lenny Kravitz, showing off their matching rings. Pretty intense there. Also thanking Lenny for coming to support him on SNL.
Look at that, yeah. But okay, so what's weird about this whole thing is that Lenny Kravitz was married to Jason's wife, Lisa Bonet, from 1987 to 1993. It's kind of gotten people talking. Could you hang out with your wife's ex or with your significant other's ex? What do you think?
I mean, I think it depends how much time has passed. Also, it's Lenny Kravitz, so I feel like then everything goes out the window.
Yeah,
but they ended things in 1993. It's a long time ago.
Yeah,
Did you?
It depends on the people and the situation. It's hard to imagine it. But is Jason Momoa intimidated by anyone? I think absolutely not. So he's not challenged.
We've actually been seeing a lot of this lately, a lot of blended families. You got Dakota Johnson hanging out with Chris Martin and Gwyneth Paltrow. We're also just talking about Scott, Sophia, and Courtney all hanging out. So I think it's just pretty normal these days.
Especially within the celebrity class, right?
You're with yourself.
Yeah,
like,
you can do it. No big deal.
Yeah.
And so we love it. They're rocking those handmade bone skull rings. Apparently those were carved from actual animal bone, which
Maybe
makes
not
it even more
animal bone
hardcore.
Carved into human head. Okay, it's very interesting. But for Dothraki and for Game of Thrones,
that's right. It makes sense.
Of course, everyone is paying attention to everything Jason Momoa is doing these days, since he's doing a lot of press for Aquaman, and of course, we cannot wait for that.
I've been thinking about all the things you said this week.
Good.
And I don't think I can be your right hand.
Are you quitting?
Best of luck to you.
Best of luck to you. It's not easy getting a job for a woman your age.
No, this is not gonna be good.
Oh, she about to f you up?
Watch me.
Tell him, girl. Jennifer Lopez is a woman rewriting her story in the new movie Second Act.
Yeah, we're live now with her mean boss who had it coming. Dan Bukatinsky, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Feel the tension. It
I
was
know,
rising.
that scene. I mean, when I was in the theater and I watched that, the gas, that's like the worst thing you can say to somebody,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, it is.
I mean, why would you be so rude to Jennifer Lopez?
I'd like to say that I didn't write it,
Yeah.
but I love playing sort of the jerk. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and she was really fun.
Yeah, did you almost want to apologize, like, after?
Yeah,
I think you know I don't mean that, J.Lo.
We cracked up a few times doing it. I mean, we had so many face-to-faces, and it was kind of hard not to crack up in the midst of it all. Plus, Leah Remini is so funny and ad-libbed so much during the shooting that it was hard not to laugh. I mean, the movie ultimately is about family and about friendship, but it's such a comedy. There's laughs throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say one of my funniest scenes with you is when you're teaching the team how to do these team building activities.
Yes.
You're knighting them. It's so ridiculous. Did you draw any inspiration from other things you've done in the past? Maybe team building for acting or something?
You know what?
Playing a knight, possibly. We don't know.
Yeah, or King Arthur. I mean, the character's name is Arthur, so it was really funny that he imagined himself to be like King Arthur. I always find those team building kind of guys. I played a similar character on Superstore. Or a union guy who comes in and is there to sort of galvanize people's energies and teach people corporate, all that corporate lingo. Anytime any of us have had to go through any kind of workshop through some corporate culture, it makes me laugh because so many things are standardized and made to sound normal. And so it was really fun to get a baguette in my hand and to try to teach them that I have this technique and I'm going to knight people based on what department of the supermarket they were
Even
in.
the mixers become standardized, right?
Yeah,
It's just like this cookie cutter thing. So the movie's obviously funny. Milo Ventimiglia has said some of the best moments happened when the cameras weren't rolling. I just wanted to kind of get an idea of what it's like on set when the cameras weren't rolling. And like you said, a lot of ad-libbing, that type of thing would go on.
And obviously my character, gets a job that she obviously deserved and wanted. And so, Jennifer and I, clearly our characters were at odds right from the very beginning. And we're in the supermarket and we shot this scene and all of our scenes together in a real working supermarket.
Oh, wow, okay.
So it was very funny to be interacting both with shoppers, wearing these vests, and at times people thinking like, hon, can you hand me the rice on the top? I'm like, yes, actually not work here, but happy to help you. And Jennifer and I talking through the aisles of kid diapers and about which brand of diaper we used with our kids when they were younger, and very grounded, very funny. Everybody was in a really good mood. Obviously there was a lot of fans.
I was going to say, imagine going to you're picking up a fern at the supermarket and there's J.Lo.
It was
possibly there to help you. We don't know.
It was tricky that we were in these sort of polyester vests as though we worked there. But a lot of people were actually shopping. But it was really fun to just play around. And Pete Siegel, who directed the film, really allowed for it to be a very open, very comfortable, warm, and all the friends. Leah and Jennifer are friends in real life. That vibe was very evident on set.
Well, we're huge fans of, the entire cast, but obviously J.Lo, Jennifer Lopez, we're always talking about her, and people's tagged along with her workouts. She said that she looks amazing. She doesn't drink alcohol or caffeine. Was there evidence of that on set? She obviously takes really good care of herself.
Takes really good care of herself. I am in awe of how much she does and how devoted she is to her fans. She took every opportunity to include her fans in live Facebook feeds and Instagram live feeds while we were on set with me, with Leah. She is very grounded and it looks amazing. Even first thing in the morning. And none of us look great first thing.
Any A-Rod appearances on set? A-Rod?
You know what? Not while I was there.
Not doing a thing.
Not while I was there.
Let's talk about Scandal quickly.
Sure.
You were on that show for 3 seasons.
Yes.
It seems like such great friendships. We were talking about this a little bit ago, that you guys still stay in touch. You're going to see one of your castmates.
I'm going to see Tony Goldwyn tonight in Network and Carrie tomorrow in American Son. We're very, very close. It was an unbelievably bonding experience. And recently I had a bunch of the Scandal cast. I was in a play in New York called Quack at the Kirk Douglas. And so Bellamy came out and Shonda
Why
came
that
out.
show? What is it about that show that gave you those lasting friendships?
It's amazing that the work ethic, Carrie, I think, was a big part of it. She was #1 on the call sheet and very galvanizing. We all admired each other. We all rooted for each other. It was really hard work, really emotional work. And so I feel like when you're in the trenches with a group like that, laughing as well as letting it all out. Not to mention the fact I had to be completely naked season 3.
No big deal.
Super
Once
casual.
you're completely naked in front of a group of people, what happens on the Scandal set stays on the Scandal.
And you're gonna stay connected forever,
I
right?
feel like some of these shows have these big group texts. Is there a Scandal group text with everyone on it? Just make our dreams come true and say yes.
There is. And we don't always check in.
Who's the most active?
The most active would well, the one who uses emojis more than anybody I've ever seen in my life is Bellamy Young.
Oh, really?
You just can't believe the creative use of emojis, and she really means it too. The amount of hearts and love and kisses. Now we're very, very close. I'd say Josh Molina is the least active on the text.
Come on, Josh.
Call
But,
him out.
with it.
He's the good guy, and we're all still very, very
I love
close.
Bellamy telling stories with emojis.
No, I know.
He
I love
does.
that so much. Obviously, we know you in front of the camera, but you're
Yes.
also behind the camera as well.
Yeah.
Producing team with Lisa Kudrow. You've
Yes.
done a lot of amazing projects together, including the series Who Do You Think You Are?
Yes.
It's in its 10th season. It's
Yes.
9 years. So that's amazing. Looking back, what's the biggest revelation that kind of sticks out to you from the show? Is there an OMG moment?
We've been very lucky to have a show like that where every single episode takes a different celebrity on a journey about their own specific ancestral journey, right? So each episode had its own aha moment. It really is hard to I'd say Rita Wilson had one of my, some fabulous moments where she came face to face with relatives that she had never seen before. I think the times that we've been able to match even Lisa Kudrow, who did the first episode we ever did when we were back at NBC.
Wow.
She got to see a great cousin of hers that she had not realized was still alive. It's those moments where we actually come face to face with an ancestor or with a relative that I think were the ones that stood out. But every single episode has something in it, which is probably the reason why we shoot it, where real, true research has led to an unbelievable revelation.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by all of that.
And we're on right now. I mean, our last 4 episodes of this 10th season are running all through December on Mondays. And
all right.
So
yeah, we're going to check that out, but I want to switch gears here. Hanukkah
Yes.
just ended.
Yes.
You have 2 kids.
2 kids, 13 and 11.
Favorite holiday tradition with the fam?
Well, the thing is, my husband was raised Catholic, and I'm Jewish, and so we often are lighting our candles at the same time as decorating the tree.
Oh, okay.
So it is kind of an odd mishmash in our house.
I think that's great, though. They kind of you understand both.
They
you
do.
get a real well-rounded
They do.
experience.
And I'm
right?
making latke, and we're eating belts, and we're having candy canes. It's all a big mishmash.
They're getting to the age now. Are they still excited about it, or is it like, Dad, stop embarrassing it?
They're still excited about it. I still feel out every single year whether the Santa thing, the tooth. My son realized that the tooth fairy is not real this year.
Oh, so they're still going with Santa?
He caught my hand under his pillow.
No way!
In the car the other day, he goes, look, if the tooth fairy is you, then clearly there's no Santa. And Eliza, the older of the two, looks at him and she goes, you don't know that.
hasn't been proven or
I think that it behooves them to believe. And if they will believe as long as they want, then Santa will keep coming.
That's
I like that.
amazing.
Which I
Keep
think
it
is
alive.
a hopeful way. You know?
Keep it alive, yeah.
Thank you so much for
Thank you
stopping
for
by.
having me.
Congrats on everything that you've going on.
Thank you.
Good luck with all the projects. You're amazing, guys.
Thanks so
Catch
much.
second act when it hits theaters December 21st.
All right, well, surprise, surprise. Meghan Markle shocked the entire audience at Royal Albert Hall in London on Monday night as she made a surprise and very chic appearance at the British Fashion Awards. Here to chat all about that night and more is our royal correspondent, Imogen Lloyd-Webber. Welcome, Imogen. I'm very excited about this.
Oh, me too.
All right, this is the first time a Duchess possibly has recorded a boomerang. What are your thoughts? Let's look. Has this ever happened before in the royal family?
She's looking Hollywood here, isn't she? You don't normally see a Duchess doing that. And note the black nail polish, which I think is almost the most shocking thing about all of this, Jeremy.
So I was surprised that was something that got your attention. Why is that?
Because the Queen and all the royal family are always wearing pale pink because black dark colours are seen as too distracting.
Is it more shocking that she did the boomerang or that she wore black nail polish?
Black nail polish for me, but the boomerang, it literally looks like she's at the Oscars, doesn't it? It doesn't look like she's a Duchess.
And she had Rosamund Pike there and a Claire Waite Keller as well. So, so presenting this award, look how beautiful, all of them there. I couldn't get over the bump though, the baby bump, which she was, cradling in that photo and in others, is so prominent at this point. It's great to see her.
She's little.
I know, she's so.
These things happen. She's got a small frame.
I love Meghan Markle, so I could just look at these photos all day. All right, so here we go. Switching gears now. If you wanted to own your very own piece of royal history, now is your chance. Kind of. It's going to cost you though. Kate and Pippa Middleton's former London apartment is on the market How much is this going to set me back if I try to get in this game?
£1.95 million, Jeremy, also known as $2.5 million.
Okay, still out of reach. I thought maybe the translation would help.
It's in West London in upscale Chelsea. It was purchased by Michael and Carol back in Middleton, their parents, back in 2002 for £780,000.
Oh, nice.
So it's a profit of more than £1 million.
And then the fact that it's them, it's part of the royal family, obviously drives the value up as well.
Absolutely. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a reception room over 3 floors. Has very tasteful decor with neutral walls and furniture, as you would expect from Carol Middleton.
Sounds very lovely. All right, of course, Kate and Pippa have their own families now. They're not gonna, the daughters aren't gonna need that place much longer. Anyway, another royal shakeup coming. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's aide will be leaving her job. Lots of headlines about this. Didn't Meghan just have another staffer resign as well? Let's clear the air.
All right, let's break this down. So the latest aide to leave is Samantha Cohen, who became private secretary, chief of staff in the summer as an interim appointment. However, close friends and advisors hope she would stay on and become permanent.
Right.
She'll leave the position once a replacement is found. There was previously Melissa Tubati, a personal assistant to Meghan, who resigned after just 6 months in the job. And the UK tabloids, Jeremy, have begun branding Meghan the difficult Duchess.
Well, they are, and a lot of these shakeups are getting a lot of attention and a lot of questions arising, but also that feeling coming from that reported feud between her and Kate.
Apparently, I mean, Kensington Palace issued a rare denial when apparently Kate was unhappy with the way Meghan had been treating her staff.
Right.
So perhaps all is not well at Kensington Palace. There are a lot of rumours coming around, so perhaps no smoke without fire.
There we go. We'll see what turns out with that. Now, it's been a while since we heard from Meghan's dad, but apparently these rumors have struck a bit of a chord with him. He's speaking up to set the record straight. What has he said?
Okay, could we just point out here that he's had no contact with Meghan in months?
So it's sort of, again, it's this sort of thing, commenting but having not really spoken.
Might not be the most informed. Anyway, Thomas says he taught Meghan to have respect for those who worked behind the scenes. Apparently, he hand-delivered a letter to Meghan's mother asking if she knew why our daughter won't speak to me. His dozens of attempts to reach Meghan via text and letters have reached a wall of silence. Harry and Meghan just don't want to know.
They've definitely kind of put up that wall and aren't speaking to him. It seems he continues to be free to speak, though. So there you go. We'll see if he has any more comments as we move forward. Lots of drama there. Thank you so much, Imogen. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right, we're taking one last look at our question of the day. We've been asking you whether you'll be watching the Oscars if they decide to have no host. Looks like it doesn't bother you. According to Jeremy, this is a very overwhelming win year for the slowly watching the Oscars.
Over 10% in the yes. I think that's overwhelming. The people have spoken. I know I'm not arguing with the people.
Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow with another question of the day, so tune in for that.
Coming up tomorrow, Rosario Dawson will be here live. She's bringing us her best health and fitness tips and so much more. Plus, we'll hear from Jennifer Lopez about her new movie, Second Act, and how she relates to her character on a personal level. Even more about that tomorrow.
Yes, thanks for watching. For now, we leave you with one last thing from Leanne Rimes. Have a good day.
Bye, guys.
Hey guys, I'm Leanne Rimes, and this is one last thing. So my last date night with my hubby that was incredibly memorable was Dave Matthews at the Hollywood Bowl. That was awesome. The last Christmas movie I watched with the family, my husband vowed in our wedding vows to always watch Practical Magic on Halloween with me and Love Actually at Christmas.
Scene clash.
The last thing I Googled would probably be a really good restaurant. Everywhere I go, I'm such a foodie. I have to have good food. And so I think, since I'm in New York, the last thing I Googled was best new restaurants, New York 2018. And I can't tell you where I'm going because I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm going to.